What is going on, Crisis Actors? I hope you guys all had a fantastic weekend. It is episode 1064 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Happy Monday. We're back from the weekend. I had this terribly gloomy day outside, and now it's just become much brighter. So
Just
I
now?
feel it. Yeah, I'm in a much better mood now that it doesn't feel like nighttime.
Well, don't let me hear one of those people saying that they have seasonal affective disorder or something
I
like that.
totally had that though. Like during the winter, I totally had it.
You were
for
all
sure.
bummed for no reason?
I was like, why is everything so doomed all the time? And then as soon as it started getting nicer out, I was like, yeah, fine.
all
Presto.
right. We have a 20 there. You got that? Can you see it?
Oh, missed that one. From Shane H. Wilder. Happy Monday, Brett and Mary. I'm at the airport. The secret mission was I was in Steubenville for the Catholic Creators Conference. It was great. We closed down Harp and Habit every night. Kyle and Desiree say, hi, Mary. Oh, that's so nice that they said hi. I guess you can't say hi back anymore because you're already going home. But
What the hell
it's a shame I couldn't make it this year. It would have been fun for sure. Hopefully next time.
What is Harp and Habit?
So he's referring to, I went to Harp and Habit when I was in Steubenville. We closed out the conference that year at Harp and Habit. But it's like this cool, like sort of, I don't know if it was an Irish pub or what kind of vibe they were going for, but basically like an Irish pub.
I was like, is this like the Catholic version of Thistle and Thorn?
Basically, yeah. But, better vibes than Thistle and Thorn. And better seating, better lighting, better music. They're not going to hand you truffle fries in a newspaper. They're not going to
all that sounds amazing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, I mean, Thistle and Thorn is great when you're in the mood for Thistle and Thorn, and Harp and Habit is great, every other day of the year.
Is the Catholic version of it called Crown of Thorns?
I guess since habit is in the name, It is implicitly Catholic because habit would be, referring to the monks' uniform. So I guess it is maybe a Catholic-owned business, but I'm not sure.
Wait, isn't that what a nun wears? Doesn't a nun wear a habit?
And a nun, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Any like person in religious life. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you and welcome back, Shane. We got one more 20 here from
Weary. Super fun, by the way, from what I've seen so far of people who did go, so I'm jelly.
Were you scoping it out online?
I was looking at some of the people posting after they left, and yeah, I was kind of bitter that I didn't go this year, but it was just not possible with my schedule. So hopefully I can accommodate it the next time around. I mean, by then it's going to be thousands of people, and like it'll be so exclusive that even I'm not allowed in.
They'll check you at the door. They'll say, hey.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be banned.
All right, we got one more 20 here from Weary Traveler. Says, I saw the Backrooms on Saturday, and he said the Backrooms. I saw Backrooms on Saturday and enjoyed it. 4 stars for me. Not as good as Obsession, but still very good. I would say Gen Z has saved Hollywood as far as the horror genre is concerned, or as far as the horror genre goes.
Let's not speak too soon about anyone saving Hollywood, but yeah, there's a lot of hype around both of these movies, and I'm hearing different accounts. Some people are saying that Obsession is the one that sucks and Backrooms is a masterpiece. Other people are saying it's vice versa. I don't know what to believe, so I'm going to wait until I see both. Hopefully, if I make time for both this week, then I'll deliver my verdict.
Just by virtue,
it is necessary.
Just by virtue of the concept, Backrooms seems like the harder movie to pull off to me.
A lot of people are saying that it lacks a substantive plot, and it's a lot of like vibes, and of course they're trying to build up the tension, but you also do need like character development and dialogue. Not necessarily, but like it was a lot of just kind of liminal vibes.
You're
just kind of hanging out with the movie.
I watched several of the Backrooms videos on Kane Parsons' YouTube channel, and I fully I can say 2 things. One, it's just not for me. It doesn't interest me as a genre. But I can say that as far as a creator goes, the work is masterful. I can appreciate fantastic work even if it's not a genre. Like the way, because from what I understand, he made most of those videos in Blender, which is and the camera work that's done and the found footage aspect of it is fantastic, and it does lend itself to exactly what horror fans are appreciative of, which is all sorts of theories and debates about what every little detail means. But to me, it just seemed like once you have to go in front of the camera. Yeah. So, and that's fact, guys, that's going to be one of the things we get into today. So thank you for the super chats. Hit the like button on this episode and subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Or if you aren't new here and you've been here before, check and make sure that you're still subscribed. And still, as always, leave comments on the videos and the live streams. Whether you agree with us or disagree with us, you should argue with people in the comments section about what we're saying. It is a fantastic way to increase our engagement. It is part of my master plan, like Skeletor and He-Man, which is going to bomb next weekend. So what are we getting into this Monday afternoon? We are going to talk about Kane Parsons and Curry Barker, because they have the two biggest movies in America right now. They are Obsession and, of course, Backrooms, which opened this past weekend to as much money as Mandalorian opened to when it premiered the week before. Both of these movies absolutely spanked The Mandalorian at the box office this weekend. Sorry, Pedro. I got to make a fantastic thumbnail of Pedro crying, being unable to escape the Backrooms, though, which gave me great pleasure and made me very happy. So
that would kind of be great cross promotion for everyone if they did that.
I did the thing where he's like, I took the picture of
Disney had a sense of humor.
I just grokked it and took the picture of Chiwetel Ejiofor like looking at the wall, like kind of concerned.
Make it Pedro.
And only crying, like, I can't get out. So no Grogu to be found to help him, no nothing. So we're going to talk about their rise to fame because there is now a bona fide YouTuber to horror movie pipeline, because it's not just these two guys. It's Chris Stuckman. It's Markiplier. It's a lot of people, and it leads to the question, is Gen Z...
And they're all men.
And they're all men.
They're all men. Dudes.
White guys. That's why these guys are successful. I read that as well. So we're going to get into all of that. We're also going to talk about Euphoria. It ends not with a bang, but with a low moan. A very, very sad.
A sensual moan.
A sad, sensual low moan.
Brett said that earlier. It just killed me. And I was like, we have to make that the title. There's no way around it now.
So we are going to
stop thinking about it.
And we are going to do spoilers with that because TMZ said F y'all and just released the spoilers themselves.
Yeah, it's barely even a spoiler because everyone is posting it and publishing it. So it doesn't really matter.
Is there like a post-credit scene where like the Euphoria Nick Fury comes out to start like the Horvengers or something? Like,
I mean,
he's building a team and it's just Scooter Braun.
I wouldn't put it past them. Yeah.
Scooter Braun is the Nick Fury of Euphoria, where he plays the evil. He's a music executive. He's a drug dealer. He's an OnlyFans manager.
So Scooter Braun, this is what they should have done. Write him into the show as one of the Nazi mobsters that is coming after her husband, Nate. And I mean, chaos ensues. No, you don't need to even write anything after that.
He's got to play a character like in a Californication or the Entourage, where he plays himself. Like he plays Scooter Braun, just not Scooter Braun.
You know, honestly, I just don't buy the whole Scooter Braun villain narrative. I still don't.
I'm team Scooter Braun.
He's probably a jerk and not that interesting in real life.
I mean, that's good. He should be a jerk and not that interesting. A music executive shouldn't be super interesting. He should be good at his job. If he's interesting, it's because he's good at his job. And I don't really care if he's a jerk. He gives fantastic political answers when they try to get him to talk about victimhood narrative, which is something that I was tweeting about last week. Anyways, I digress. We're going to talk about Euphoria. We're also going to talk about this TikTok couple because Twitter is spiritually very gay, and they want to talk about how are they a looks match? Is he better looking than her? Is she better looking than him? It's all very I don't know why guys are spending their time talking about this, but they are, and I've been dragged into this discussion, so I guess I'm joining that today. So what does that say? We'll find out later.
How low we have stooped on this show.
It's she sends me this, and I'm like, can't I just talk about whether Henry Cavill is handsome or not? That's not gay.
Oh, don't worry, we're going to get into that too.
Exactly. So we've got that. We've got a bunch of other stuff. If you're ready to go, we can go. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Well, let's go for it then. Nope.
So the demonic hatred directed at Henry Cavill truly never ceases to amaze me. I don't really understand how he manages to ignite this fury in people, especially when he's not really looking for attention in a proactive way. He's not trying to provoke anybody. He's just living his life, and paparazzi take some photos of him. And it not only gets used against him, people then manipulate those images artificially in order to basically insult his appearance. And that's what happened this time around. Last week on X, I believe it started with this account, Celebs Arabic. This is automatically translated, by the way, from Arabic. It says, Henry Cavill between the past and the present. What do you think happened to him? And of course, the first photo, I mean, I could have believed that it was real.
It looks like he just bought it. It looks like he's a detective who just curb stomped somebody on the side of a street.
To me, I said that he comes off in this photo like a schizophrenic history professor who just like, or maybe like a super genius that just electrocuted himself in his laboratory. Like, or you said he looks mid-sneeze in this one.
Yeah, he does.
Which is possible.
Or no, not mid-sneeze, like he sucked his nose in, like that.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. But the community note clarifies that the image on the left is not real and does not reflect his current appearance. And this is the thing about community notes that really like it leads me to kind of get fatigued, because you didn't have to add his current appearance, who looks muscular and strong in photos from filming the Highlander movie in London.
I would like to give you the credit. You were probably the first person, and I have seen it since then, you were probably the first person to call out the degradation of community notes as something that was great in concept, but became clapbacks.
Like, or at least, of course, that's a biased take. You don't, and also this original tweet was never about how muscular he is or isn't. It's about like how he looks in his face.
You know who this happened to? This happened to Tom Welling when he got arrested. It's a Superman curse of sorts, where they're like, what the hell happened to Tom Welling? Meanwhile, he's just like 45 or 50 years old, so of course he is.
Do you think that this is a bot campaign? Because there were tons of similar tweets just like this all at the same time. Another one said, recent photos of Henry Cavill are sparking discussion among netizens on social media. Has he changed?
Nobody says netizens.
No one other than a bot says netizens. And then, of course, the backlash was swift and passionate from Henry Cavill fans.
I can almost hear Anna, that Star Wars girl, crying.
How dare you? How absolutely
dare you?
And Henry Cavill doesn't need anyone to defend him, honestly, but they said girls are posting pictures of Henry Cavill and saying that he doesn't look handsome anymore. They're mocking him. If men start doing the same for old fat women, they'll start crying about body positivity. I don't know if it's really
bro.
Like human beings that were even the culprit in this case. It really might have just been bot farms that were at fault for this. Another one said, the fact is that pic of Henry Cavill is edited by haters. This was a recent click from the sets of Highlander in Poland. Ooh. Now, I don't know anything about Highlander, so what's this project about? Like, when is it coming out? Because I feel like he's not following through on Warhammer. I haven't seen any news about that.
It's being made by Chad. It's being made by Chad Stahelski, who's the same dude who made John Wick. This has been in production for a while. There's a lot of fun stuff attached to it. It's based on a franchise from Christopher Lambert back in the day, and then they made a TV show about it as well. It was very campy when I watched it, but it looks like it'll probably be a lot of fun and more up his alley as far as the type of projects that I'd like to see him. Like, I don't want to see him do Guy Ritchie movies forever. I love them, but like nobody's going to watch them. Like, me and like 3 other people went to see In the Gray. Like, literally it was me and the 3 people in our theater.
What year was that?
Just this year. We went this year.
That was this year?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and then like 2 years ago or last year, whenever Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare came out, it was great, but nobody went and saw it.
Yeah, I remember that one. That flopped, didn't it?
It didn't do well. And the thing is like, if you had gone and seen this movie, now albeit from what I understand, In the Gray was filmed in like 2023, you can tell he doesn't look very different. He's the same Henry Cavill that he was before. Granted, 3 years can do a lot to a person if it's, you know how they always say, like, some people, like, you don't age incrementally, you kind of age 5 years all at once or something like that. Yeah, but he had a beard in that, so it's also a little bit different. People's facial hair tends to change the structure of their face. Henry Cavill looks perfectly fine, but he is, for some reason, a lightning rod for X controversy. I mean, like, we have very few topics on this channel that always do well. For some reason, Henry Cavill ignites everybody. I don't know why. Like, people get very mad, legitimately mad when I said, I don't think he should play James Bond. I have since changed my opinion on that because I thought he was great in The Gray. And I'm like, you know what? They cast some other actors as James Bond older as well. Give it to him. Let him make 1 or 2 movies. It'd be a lot of fun. But I held firm for a long period of time where I said he should just play a Bond villain because he was great as a villain in a Mission Impossible movie. And people are like, no, he should be James Bond.
I think he should be James Bond because it's a business decision to cast him as James Bond.
I do not think that works either because I don't see that he has not historically been a huge draw at the box office in the last couple of years. So I don't think that tracks either.
It's a clear example of fan service to cast him as James Bond. I genuinely think that people would love that. I mean, it's all theoretical. He's probably not going to get cast.
We got a couple of 20s here from Pop Culture Junkie says, I'm a big fan of Blumhouse. The business plan of making films cheap and distributing the profits, if it's a hit to all participating, is a great idea. Their business plan is available for the Harvard Business School from the Harvard Business School website. Well, I just watched the movie With Honors last night about Brendan Fraser when he was at Harvard. Well, it's not Brendan Fraser, but his character's at Harvard. And Joe Pesci, the bum, gets his hand on his thesis and says, I'll give you back each page. Every time you do something for me, you get a page from your thesis back. Because it was the 90s and his computer like exploded and there was no way to save it. But yeah, I mean, they do seem to be doing very well right now, and horror is the way to go. We'll talk more about that later. And we also have a 20 here from Shane H. Wilder. He says it's an Irish pub. He's talking earlier about his super chat earlier.
Harp and Habit.
I made a lot of lifelong friends. No, I'm not telling Franco's Numer. Do you know what this is?
I know who Franco Aurelio is.
Okay. I dropped a ton of photos on to I of G. I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming that's Insta of Graham. We did a stream for Keith Nestor's wife with cancer. Mary, did you know they'll always make room for you? Mary, you know they'll always make room for you. Yeah, they'll always make room for you.
Yes, definitely. And it was an invitation, but I just wasn't able to make it this time around, unfortunately.
Henry Cavill would go if he could. I'd like to think. I have no idea.
Henry Cavill. Yeah, there is a parallel universe in which he becomes a trad calf. And then people would get, you know, the previous outrage cycle around Henry Cavill was surrounding his non-relationship with Millie Bobby Brown.
Yep.
For some reason, it's even creepy when you don't inappropriately text your underage co-stars.
Yeah.
I just think that's insane. Henry Cavill received like more backlash. Okay, maybe not now, but at the time, received more backlash for not being friends with Millie Bobby Brown than Drake got for actually inappropriately texting her when she was 13 years old.
I think the hair is what's putting people off here, because normally he's got his hair straightened with his like the Jerry curl when he played Superman. Yeah. He's got the coiffed hair. Now it's just curly and unruly. We could give him the Zoomer cut really easily if we just got him to sit still long enough.
Someone even claimed that this was an attack by David Cornsweat fans.
Like, that could be true. There are crazy Cornsweat Superman fans, and then there's Snyderverse fans, and they go at it in their own little pocket universe. They're in their own version of the Backrooms, fighting in an empty like hotel hallway.
One of them said, David Cornsweat is so sauceless. His fans gotta lie about how Henry Cavill looks after doing night shoots for Highlander.
Yep. I
don't know if I believe that narrative, but I guess according to you, there are some passionate Cornsweat fans out there.
Apparently.
And in this one, he looks weirdly a lot like Matt Damon. Maybe just from this angle. I don't even know if this is a real photo of him or if it's AI, but
I don't see
he looks
it,
like Matt Damon in this.
You know? But then like this, it's like bro's got like, you just got to catch him at the right angle. Like everybody.
Oh, is this also a recent photo?
This is also a recent photo.
From the set? Okay. Yeah. I'm just wondering what's going on with the Warhammer series because it was announced like, what, 5 years ago now?
Yeah.
Maybe 4 years ago now, and nothing has come out about it whatsoever. At least not that I've seen.
Yeah. He's got Highlander, and we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. He's got some other stuff in the works, though. Isn't he doing, I think there's something else he's doing that I'm not thinking of right now. But he's great. And then we got this is the sauceless one where they're...
So is that a Cornsweat fan account right there? Named Clark?
David with studio makeup and professional lighting versus Henry morning after a night shoot taken by a fan with a cell phone.
Look,
they're all so mad.
No more brother wars. We can't have this.
It is
David Cornsweat actually seems like a relatively likable, reasonable guy.
Yep, he does. He is a perfect example of why the Supergirl marketing doesn't have to be what's going on right now. Superman's marketing backfired because nobody can stand the fact that James Gunn makes himself the center of attention. But David Cornsweat was utterly likable and seemed to really, really enjoy the material and being Superman and all that stuff. Whereas what's going on with Millie Alcock, not Millie Bobby Brown, different Millies, just proves that the whole situation's a kerfuffle, and that's not David Cornsweat's fault.
I didn't think that people really picked up on it at the time, but what she said about Christian dads in that interview was really venomous. I think that was a really bad look.
What she said was that they usually have Christian dad in the bio.
She probably saw like one account. I mean, I know everyone's brain works the same way where we focus more on negativity than positivity, but she probably saw like one account that had that in the bio and kind of projected that onto thousands of people who had valid critiques.
That wasn't even the one that I think did the most damage. I think the one when you're pissing off the right people, you know, that's the most nefarious out of all of them. It proves your mindset. Also, one of the producers is like, "You're doing great." Bitch, no, you're not. Like
they did the same. They gave the same treatment to Rachel Zegler behind the scenes. They were, for the most part, like applauding her behavior, and reprimanding her only came after her Palestine tweet, which is crazy.
Yep.
Like, had she never spoken on Palestine, they would have just let her run rampant.
Yep. And let's face it, Supergirl was never going to do the money that they want it to anyways. Like, it couldn't even survive as a CBS network show. It had to get bought by the CW. Nobody cared. And the Melissa Benoist version of it is, from what I've been told, it was like literally, that was my bridge too far. I watched Arrow, I watched Flash, I watched Legends of Tomorrow. I'm like, I'm not watching Supergirl. I don't have the time for
That's
Supergirl.
When they lost,
I even watched and enjoyed like the first half or the first season of Black Lightning. Despite the fact that it's got tons of race baiting in there. I thought it was a lot of fun.
If you're able to look past that.
Supergirl, for the most part, she was great in the cameos when she would show up in the crossover episodes. But that actress was very likable to me. And this is not that. And we've gone a completely different direction. But I don't think the movie's going to make a whole lot of money. But let's face it, the Gen X and the boomer properties aren't the future anymore, it seems.
Yeah. We'll get to that later, actually.
All right. Sorry, Henry. We're on your side. We support you. Let's move on, shall we?
Yeah. It's been a minute since we have talked about Bonnie Blue. because I think we were just fatigued with all of the lies, all of the fake headlines that she was causing. She did, in fact, fake a pregnancy. She did wear a prosthetic pregnant belly. But now, according to journalists, she actually is pregnant this time. She's not lying about it. She actually is gestating a child and refuses to disclose who the father is. I can't tell if that's because she knows who it is or if it's because she has no idea who it may be out of the thousands of men that she has slept with in the past year.
It's like the reverse lottery.
Here she is in her exclusive interview with this British publication, Daily Star, posing pregnant with her prior prosthetic pregnant belly.
I don't mean to besmirch the good name of the Daily Star.
Doesn't seem reputable. No, it doesn't. But you know, in these photos, can you show the photos? Let's judge for ourselves. You know, does that look like a legit pregnant belly on her? Like,
maybe it's,
that looks pretty realistic to me.
The funnier version of this is she's just wearing a second pregnant belly.
It's just a more expensive one.
Yes, that matches her skin tone better.
I mean, I just have like this last like smidge of hope that journalists would do their due diligence and actually confirm that she's pregnant before talking about it. But I'm going to assume, now that I've seen the photos, that she is actually pregnant this time. And she did another long form interview with this outlet, leading Britain's conversation. And they talked about her pregnancy and her thoughts on the proposed social media ban in the UK for minors under 16. And also about the wider conversation around online influence and accountability. And all she had to say about the last topic is that she is not accountable for anyone or anything other than herself and her own choices. She is the ultimate conclusion of my body, my choice. And she is planning to use her pregnancy for as much publicity as possible, of course, just as she did with the fake pregnancy. I don't know what's real or fake anymore. I saw a clip of her with her belly out in a nightclub, knocking back shots. And here are three possibilities. One is she is wearing a prosthetic belly, is faking this pregnancy as well, and is, you know, knocking back shots in the club. Second possibility is she's actually pregnant and was pretending to take shots, and those were not alcohol. And the third possibility, and it's a very real one, is that she was actually drinking while pregnant in public and posting videos of it. So I don't even know what is the most likely scenario. Like, what do you think is going on there?
I don't think any of it is real.
You think that she's faking this pregnancy too?
Look, loath as I am to ever have like a hardcore, like, take a chance on an opinion, but I just don't buy anything is real anymore. It's like, is Clavicular actually going to be a dad? We saw on a stream that he's going to be a dad, but at the same time, he goes off steroids so that he can become fertile. But he was already fertile because he was going to be a dad. I don't care. It's all fake. It's all stupid.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I just
like this is just modern day internet inspired performance art to show you the most sociopathic. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, to show you the most sociopathic.
Just what society is capable of. And 30 years ago, 20 years ago, this lady would have been in a movie, and I'm sure she would have played a fantastic villain in a movie 20 or 30 years ago. Now she plays a real world villain.
People understandably mix her up with Lily Phillips, another OnlyFans creator who did similar stunts, who also faked a pregnancy at the same time as Bonnie Blue did. But I think the difference is that Lily Phillips actually has a soul, and you can definitely tell the difference. There is light in her eyes still. She experiences emotions, whereas Bonnie Blue, I genuinely think, is a clinical psychopath. And you can tell that there is nothing behind the eyes, and she doesn't believe a single word she is saying and feels nothing whatsoever. Like she when she lies, she doesn't even have something in her brain that like detects that she's lying or telling the truth. It's just all the same to her. Whatever gets her the most attention, money, and power is what she will say and do. So that's why no one should take her seriously. But of course, in this interview, she talks about her pregnancy, and the interviewer is asking her about how she plans to celebrate her baby shower. And let's play this clip where the interviewer gets really uncomfortable.
Yep, here we go.
Did I hear right that you have a stunt planned for June?
Yes, I have a baby shower on Saturday, next Saturday, and I'm inviting the public to turn my baby shower into a golden shower.
Why?
It's just fun. It's a twist on the baby shower. I'll be having sex with the people as well as, and it's going to be like a mixture of wholesome baby shower games, like the traditional trying different baby food, along with other fluids added in there.
Now I'm uncomfortable. This is your baby. This is your child.
Yeah. Again, my body, this is what I'm choosing.
Do you not see that in any way as a denigration of your baby?
No, like, it is difficult because I don't want to sexualize the baby.
Did I hear?
Okay.
So this is the clip that went the most viral from this 30-minute interview, understandably, because it's incredibly disturbing. And here's why I think, weirdly enough, there's a silver lining to all of this, which is that Bonnie Blue has clarified for everyone that there is a line and it is possible to cross it. And everyone basically agrees on that, like, this is immoral. And it's a dirty word to even call something immoral these days. Even the people who are generally in favor of, you know, sexual liberation and women emancipating themselves and owning their sexuality and publicizing it, making money off of it, they still see something like this and they're like, ew. Like a natural yuck response is inspired by what you just saw.
Even the most hardcore libertarians are going to acknowledge that it's the non-aggression principle has been violated in this respect.
Is it?
Well, it depends. I guess it depends on the classification of libertarian and where they believe life actually begins. Is it at conception or is it at a certain amount of weeks?
I mean, obviously the baby is not aware of anything that's happening at the baby shower. So this does not violate the non-aggression principle. If we're really being honest, it just gives us a yuck factor because we all have a moral compass, except if you're a clinical psychopath. I guess you don't. But most people, we're talking about 99% of people, have a moral compass, and you can intellectualize and rationalize it all you want, but everyone finds this disgusting on a deep, visceral level. One of the responses said, I used to think Bonnie Blue was funny and a proper rage baiter, but she's actually pregnant and it's turned disgusting. But it's like, let's investigate why you feel that way. You know, let's really just be honest with ourselves and take responsibility for what we really feel. Why is it all of a sudden that you feel uncomfortable? Like, if we really get down to the heart of the issue, it's because you think it's immoral, and you should own that you think that. I think that's why there is, you know, this subtle bright side to all of this like darkness in this story, is that it's at least clarifying for people that there is a line that we all should agree we shouldn't cross. And it's not just about whether children should be involved, because given that she's pregnant, nobody thinks that it's wrong to have sex while pregnant. But it is the nature of the gravity of motherhood and the gravity of someone's sexuality. They should take it seriously. That sex is a sacred thing, that motherhood is a sacred thing that is inherently connected to sex. We all know this. It's just something that is usually not acceptable to talk about because society, for the most part, has accepted that your body, your choice is the law of the land. But it, when taken to its logical conclusion, is Bonnie Blue. Like, she is the personification of sexual liberation and libertarianism, to be honest. So that's making people really question their most strongly held moral precepts.
I mean, there would be a discussion to be had with most people about when you give the most absurd example of anything does not necessarily, it's not going to sway everyone's opinion, because it's just, like, as a concept, the idea is that most people don't fall into that belief system. So do you throw, well, for the lack of better terms, the baby out with the bathwater of your whole ideology because one person pushes it to the natural, most absurd and evil extent of that
worldview? Well, I don't think it's absurd at all, to be honest. And I don't think that it's self-explanatory that if your worldview is that people should do whatever they want as long as it's not harming anybody, that everything in terms of sexuality is acceptable as long as it's not harming anybody, including children, then this should fall under the umbrella of acceptable sexual behavior. There's really nothing self-explanatory about calling it evil. So we do need to actually investigate why it is we feel uncomfortable with this and be honest about that.
What's funny is I think back to like television shows that would vaguely mention libertarianism back in the 2000s. And they would give the basic example or the basic idea of what it means to be a libertarian, you know, do what you want as long as you're not harming others. And I feel like it's somewhere along the lines it became indistinguishable from liberalism, which would have been the ideology in place from most of the people creating those things at the time. Maybe they were progressive, maybe they were very, very liberal, but they're not necessarily the same things, especially once you get into the deeper nuances on the political side of things. But really it just came down to what is the simplest explanation a person can give for how they feel about the world. And the simplest explanation you can give is like, it actually does speak to the lack of bigotry from most people, which is like, I don't really care what you're doing. I don't care who you are. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, I guess I just don't really care. It's a sign of apathy more than anything. And apathy taken to its logical conclusion when there's no cultural, moral, or cultural safeguards put in place leads to this place. But that doesn't mean that most people are going to go back the other direction where they go and check out the conservative side of things. So say you're a woman and you see this and you're like, oh my God, that's disgusting. That's her baby. And she looks over here and they're like, take away women's right to vote and this and that. There's horrible, stupid examples on both sides. And that's kind of what I mean. Whereas like most people end up in some kind of amalgamation of the middle. And there's always going to be a sociopath who's going to make a lot of money off of reflecting back the most evil side of humanity back at you. And then get to couch it in the terms of it's a sociological experiment, or they're there to make you think, like Clavicular. He's there to push forward the cultural discussion or some other bullshit that I'm supposed to care about.
Well, this reminds me of the comparisons between Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, where they said everyone is sex positive until, you know, a cold-blooded, like heart of stone whore like Bonnie Blue shows up, and then you're like, whoa, we're taking this too far. It's the same thing here where, you know, everyone's a tolerant lib until the golden shower baby shower happens, and then you're like, yikes. I'm not so sure about that now. I'm not so sure about all of my assumptions and my worldview. I'm gonna start questioning those. So that's why I weirdly think that it's kind of a good thing that people are having this conversation.
Yeah, it's at the very least interesting in the most depressing way that I can think of. I didn't imagine that the non-aggression principle was only a physical means, so I don't know if that even necessarily. I think it can still apply here. You're harming the child's future because he could be humiliated by just the fact that he might have to one day see his friends hold up a picture of his mom with a pregnant belly getting peed on. That feels like a way to violate this person's future and sovereignty.
The reason why the non-aggression principle has always seemed ridiculous to me on its face is because no one can come to a consensus on the definition of harm. So that's why I basically throw that out. It's completely illogical because nobody can come to a consensus on that.
That's why me and you are not political commentators.
Yeah, I don't think I would fare well.
All right, let's move on. You sent the cringe. I gotta pull it up here because I did not pull it up on screen, but I do have it. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just do cringe of the day
I should
first.
like provide a little bit of a preface
No
here.
way this is worse than Fridays. Fridays was so bad.
Wait, what was it on Friday?
It was the lady yelling at the person who had the date.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an all-timer. This time you're going to see a video from a creator who goes by Judy Jupiter. She is an elderly woman who basically cold approaches famous people in public and interviews them rapid fire. And she approached Azalea Banks. I don't even know where they are right now. They look like they're in the back rooms. And Azalea Banks was not having it. So let's see.
Hi there. Oh, you're so pretty. And what's your name?
Azalea.
What's your Instagram?
Like she's shining this light.
It's okay. It's safe. I'm safe.
I don't use Instagram that much.
What about TikTok?
Not really.
I love your tattoos. Which one's your favorite? The heart?
What's going on?
Anybody who asks that many rapid fire questions in a row deserves to get the side eye.
Well, I'm Judy Jupiter. I photograph like Sabrina Carpenter, people like that. I get all the really cool singers. You're a singer, right? Do you want to sing me a tune, just a little tune? Oh, a little no? Anything come out of you? No? Are you a New Yorker?
Yes.
Were you born and bred?
Yep.
Oh, I love New Yorkers. I'm from Detroit, but I've been here a long, long time.
Oh, Olivia's gonna be pissed. She's claiming Detroit. That's rough.
So, anything you want to say to my followers?
This is so awkward.
Is it just right on your face? You know why? Because it's so dark in here. My flash came on. Can you? Oh, I'm so sorry. Can you do a 360 and turn around? No. Oh, the outfit's amazing. I love the T-shirt.
Now, can we stop recording me?
Okay, say hi to my followers.
No. Nor should they say hi to your followers.
So people were arguing about like who was in the wrong here. Was Azalea being rude to Judy? Was Judy actually in the wrong?
Judy is in the wrong here.
I agree. I think that Judy was the one who was antagonizing Azalea, but Azalea is also quite antagonistic once it's over the internet. You know, she's willing to talk more shit online than in person.
I saw over the weekend that she said she'd do America 250. We should have brought her.
Yeah, she posted her, patriotic photo shoots from over the years to prove that she loves the country.
All right, cute of the day. This one's from Stewie. Says, this is Copper.
Aww.
Copper is a very cute cat.
We love an orange cat.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a vineyard over the weekend that has a cat that just lingers around the property.
That's
and
nice.
Probably just like pilfers cheese off of people's charcuterie trays. Her name is Mistopheles, and everyone calls her Stoffy. And one of her ears is like a little nub. She's so cute.
That is very, very cute. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about Kane and Curry. That sounds like a restaurant, just like Harper or Harp and Abbott.
They should start
Kane and Curry.
a thorn of their own. Yeah. Well, everyone is talking about Backrooms and Obsession. They became the top 2 movies of the box office this past weekend, even surpassing what was earned by Mandalorian and Grogu. And this was seen as a major milestone in, I guess, what they're calling now the Zoomer horror renaissance, or perhaps Zoomer horror revolution. They are really showing that YouTubers can break into the mainstream Hollywood system. And the directors in question are Kane Parsons and Curry Barker, respectively. Kane Parsons is at 20 years old, the youngest by far to debut with a #1 film at the box office. Prior to him, it was Josh Trank with Chronicle in 2012. And I was looking into this, who broke the record in succession. It was also James Cameron, and before him, Steven Spielberg, I believe, with Jaws at 27 years old. So there were tons of record-breaking moments, and I'll just go through them here. Variety says this weekend was one for the box office history books. Movie theaters across the nation were jamming with Gen Z crowds who showed up en masse for not one but two buzzy horror films. A24's Backrooms collected a jaw-dropping $81 million from North American theaters in its opening weekend.
If you're wondering by comparison, that's about the same that Mandalorian and Grogu opened to last weekend, which is bad considering Mandalorian and Grogu cost about $165 million to make, another $100 million to market, roughly. Could have been more. Obviously, it's probably a higher number, but that's the conservative estimate. And it did this on a $10 million budget, and obviously Obsession was made on an even a micro budget of anywhere between 750 to 750K to 1 million.
Yeah, so Obsession is in its third weekend at the same time. Ticket sales for the Focus Features breakout Obsession jumped again with $26.4 million in cinemas in North America, which crossed the 100 million mark domestically. Both movies were directed by YouTube stars and cost nearly nothing to produce, upending conventional wisdom about the necessary components for a hit. The original fair ruling is especially striking at the start of the summer movie season, a period usually dominated by major franchises, and they're throwing some major shade at Disney here. And it landed in third place to both of these movies. Directed by 20-year-old Kane Parsons, Backrooms has earned $118 million globally so far. The psychological thriller has obliterated projections, with early tracking suggesting 40 to 50 million domestically. With a production budget of roughly 10 million, it's already one of the most profitable movies of the year. And Obsession, I believe, is one of the most profitable movies in history, period.
Yeah.
If you are not trying to nitpick. Okay, so some people were trying to discredit the success of both of these movies for a variety of different reasons. For Obsession, they were saying, well, it's not actually on a budget of $750,000 because their distributor acquired it for $14 million. So it's not quite as dramatic of a profit as it's being reported. But again, I think that would be called nitpicking.
Okay, but before we get into that, I don't think it can be understated how important this number was. So this movie, do you understand how rare it is? And I do mean rare for a movie that opens wide at the box office, meaning that it doesn't start with like a local release and then go wide to other theaters, to not just stay the same in the second weekend, but to jump 30% in its second weekend, and then in its third weekend, jump another 10% above what the second weekend did. That is unheard of in modern Hollywood cinema, and I actually do believe that is probably a stronger trajectory than Backrooms. If I'm just looking at the feedback on both of them, that the type of movie that Backrooms doesn't seem to have that same it seems like a much harder concept to nail in a full-length feature, and I don't think that the second weekend or the third weekend will be as kind as Obsession was to its film. That doesn't say anything though, because it was so rare what it is. So as long as it sticks to small drops week to week, both of these movies are doing revolutionary numbers at the theaters, especially given how little it took to make them.
People are also trying to poke holes in the sort of rags to riches narrative in regard to Obsession, because Curry Barker got picked up by United Talent Agency early last year. So they're saying it's not exactly like a YouTuber just randomly, independently put out this movie.
That can't happen. Somebody has to distribute it anyway. So that doesn't make any sense.
I still think these are attacks on their credibility because they're YouTubers, to be honest. I think that there's a bias there. And there are more records that they listed here. Backrooms set several benchmarks. It delivered the largest opening weekend ever for A24, crushing the record set by Civil War in 2024. It also ranked as the biggest debut in history for original horror, as well as the best start for a first-time filmmaker and on a non-franchise film. Kane Parsons is the youngest director by far to have the #1 film at the box office. The benchmark was previously held by Josh Trank, who was 27 when 2012's Chronicle opened in first place. And by the way, it is an interesting parallel since they mentioned Josh Trank and his track record is spotted, to say the least.
Okay.
Are you good?
Yeah. Your internet was going crazy for a second there. You're good.
Okay. I think we're okay.
Yep.
You can hear me, right?
Yep.
I only say that because Kane Parsons has already done an interview where he said he is planning to do more with Backrooms and expand it into a franchise. I couldn't blame him for that for a second. Of course, do that given the trajectory of his career. I think that's a great idea.
He seems very
it is going against the hopes that people have for the movie landscape in general, because they're praising Backrooms for being a non-franchise film, and they think, you know, making Backrooms into a franchise is going to essentially slopify it.
So I read an interview of his. First of all, he's ridiculously intelligent for a 20-year-old.
Yes.
Ridiculous, and had an unbelievable amount of discernment, even in his teens. He was
relentlessly creative.
Yeah, like
such an autodidact.
Yes,
just constantly looking to build new skills and naturally a prodigy at all of them.
Yes. So reading this interview tells me, first of all, he points out, he says, I had an end goal in mind. I knew how this was going to end even before it got started. And the studios were reaching out to him when he was 16. When that first episode of Backrooms, the found footage one, the one that has 80 million views on YouTube, he was getting emails from studios, and he had to be like, what? And then he had to look into it because he wants to, and he basically, one of the things I found the most fascinating about it is there's an unbelievable amount of creativity and talent, but also an unbelievable amount of understanding. He's like, look, at a certain point, I knew a movie had to be made, so I had to make creative concessions to other people, but while trying to hold on to as much of it as I possibly could. And it seems like he handled every aspect of it with the utmost professionalism for somebody of such a young age. It was actually shocking to read an interview
cool
like that.
Story.
Yes.
He got on Zoom meetings with A24 with his parents on the call.
Yeah.
Like that, and he started a YouTube account when he was 9 years old doing like Minecraft Let's Plays. This is the story that like every American child is going to bring to their parents to convince them to let them be a YouTuber or an influencer. But of course, he is an exception, not the rule. And I also wanted to mention the moviegoers' demographics. They mention here nearly 85% of audiences for these movies were under the age of 35, and more than 50% were 25 or younger, according to post-track data.
We did a story, we talked about it like a month ago about how Gen Z is the new demographic that is going to see movies right now. They are spending the money.
Reported by, I think, The Hollywood Reporter in an article titled, Can Gen Z Save Hollywood? And you guys should go pursue that and read it in full, because it was really interesting. But it's true that Gen Z is showing they are willing to get butts in seats. It's just not for the kind of movie that people anticipated.
Has to be for 4chan inspired horror movies that started as a YouTube series in 2019.
But this is also a case of rising tides raising all ships, because Obsession and Backrooms feel like a spiritual successor to Barbenheimer in a weird way. I know that they're the same genre and there are a lot of similarities between them, and they also, I don't know if you could really come up with a good moniker for that. Back session. I don't know.
Obrooms doesn't have the same ring to it.
No.
One thing I did posit a question, and I'll ask the audience what they believe about this, because my tweet was pretty, I was just kind of having a thought experiment with myself, which was that horror movies benefit from low budgets that force the directors and the creatives to kind of think obscurely and get creative with how they make their movies to cover up for the fact that they don't have endless studio resources. But horror fans are extremely loyal to the genre more than anything, more than IP. So I don't know if I would be interested to know what people think is another genre that could cross into this could cross into this realm. Maybe the thriller genre, but the thriller genre gets bogged down by sex, which gets bogged down by gender dynamics, which gets bogged down by Vogue magazine doing stories about the women who make who are starring in the movies and stuff like that. I don't know if there's another genre that I can think of right now that has the same ability to capitalize on this sort of film structure.
Yeah, I'll admit I was hesitant to see Obsession at first because there were some people trying to engage in dating discourse about the movie and talking about how it reflects on the current dating landscape. That one is basically about the protagonist putting a sort of spell on his crush, and she becomes obsessed with him against her own will, which means the protagonist is actually the villain of the story.
I think they did that in Harry Potter. They had somebody sent Harry chocolates with love potion, and then Ron ate them by accident, if I remember correctly.
I wouldn't call it Freaky Friday, but you get the idea.
It does make them the bad guy. And then we have to have discussion about consent and
Yeah, but so far it seems like people are really feeling like we're finally free from the shackles of IP slop. I wouldn't speak too soon on that. I posted about this today on Instagram and TikTok, and I captioned it, "We're potty training Hollywood." And it's so true, because we're like, every time they do something right, we're like, good job, yes, yeah. And we don't put that outside of the toilet. That's yucky, no. And it's like, when they do
Backrooms 2, Backrooms 2.
And like, there's a child smearing shit on the walls, and we're like, no, we don't put our fingers there. That's not good. That's very yucky. We don't do that.
Did we ever get any updates on that Hot Wheels movie they were going to make after Barbie came out? Is that still getting made?
So everyone is saying, like, we've seen it happen before. Something good happened, and they're not going to learn the right lessons from it. And that is true of Barbie. They thought, oh, well, we'll just greenlight a bunch of movies about toys or dolls, and they'll do well because it's about a toy. And they had no understanding of why Barbie was a success. And it looks like there is a possibility the same thing will happen this time around, where they're just going to assume, oh, if we attach a YouTuber or an influencer to any project, that will guarantee its success. And that's not the formula either. I think it has a lot more to do with something that is an original story, someone that has a passionate fan base, someone who is an internet native. There are so many other factors to it other than just attaching a YouTuber to the calling card.
Markiplier's movie might be a better example of that side of it, meaning that he had to activate his audience on his own to do that. It was not the studios didn't necessarily see the same path forward that they seem to see with Kane Parsons.
They do mention Iron Lung, which came out back in January by Mark Fishback, aka Markiplier, who directed, self-financed, distributed, and starred in the movie, which earned $50 million against a $3 million budget. And even he admits it's closer to $4 or $5 million when you really include all of the costs. They also have been mentioning Chris Stuckman in a lot of these think pieces and tweets, because it was a Kickstarter record breaker, but
then that got additional financing from Neon, and it didn't stay Kickstarter. He became part of the system, which is why he now is a movie reviewer who won't do negative reviews, because he doesn't want to upset people in the business.
Yeah, because they worked really hard on it, you know? And they mention here whether or not this is ushering in a new era or paradigm shift for the business remains to be seen. but this YouTube creator to big screen pathway should be viewed as complementary. It's a production pipeline that has not existed until now. But speaking of people targeting these directors with attacks on their credibility and creativity and talent, there is a think piece in Slash Film by an author who actually, for some reason, has me blocked on X. I've never interacted with this woman in my life. Her name is BJ Colangelo. And
this could be a self-hating dude.
She's arguing that these YouTubers turned directors are getting a leg up because they have penises. This is the YouTube to horror feature filmmaker pipeline is very real, but we must acknowledge who has access to it in the first place. YouTube is not a democratized platform, and we're doing the next generation of creatives a disservice by pretending it is.
Can I read a quote from it? Go
ahead.
Okay. This was my favorite. The platform rewards relentless long-form output, but long-form creation demands time, consistency, and unpaid labor before profit ever arrives. Women who still shoulder a disproportionate share of domestic and emotional labor begin that race already behind. That's right. Domestic and emotional labor.
They can't make horror movies because they're too busy packing the kids' lunches.
Or
oh my gosh.
You could admit the fact that long before he got engaged, Mr. Beast was single when he became unbelievably successful because he works 20 hours a day, so he doesn't have any time to spend with a woman.
Oh, and she, of course, talks more about Mr. Beast in this, like, in depth, mentions a part of the Mr. Beast Bible, and it's an internal guidebook for his employees. It says they should relate to his all-male on-screen talent team in the following ways. It's okay for the boys to be childish. If talent wants to draw a dick on the whiteboard in the video or do something stupid, let them. Really, do everything you can to empower the boys when filming and help them make content. Help them be idiots. And honestly, she is talking about how YouTube is a platform that implicitly caters to men. So, of course, if you can't become a famous YouTuber without being male, then you can't become a famous YouTuber turned director without being male.
I was looking at this old article from Influencer Marketing Hub about 22 females YouTubers that you should keep an eye out for. This was from last year. I'll let you in on one thing that most of them are showing you, which is their chests.
Oh. Well, yeah, it depends on the thumbnail. Yeah,
but the point is that men and women have different demographics that they're going for. Oddly enough, the women are catering to make content for women, even if they are still dressing that way.
That's true.
And theirs is just is simply a different type of content that gets made.
Right. But she did mention, I think, only 7 of the top 50 most subscribed channels on YouTube are run by women. Or maybe some of them are actually the face of the channel is like a child, which is even more complicated, ethically speaking, but that's besides the point here. I'm just trying to show you guys that people are already trying to damage control for the fact that both of these directors are Gen Z white men. And the only reason why she didn't word this headline if you're a white dude instead of if you're a dude is because Markiplier just so happens to be Asian. If he were white, it would definitely be a far more polarizing, targeted headline about white men in the industry.
Okay, Zach Kreger is 45. So I was thinking about it. Zach Kreger seems to be just in line with these guys as far as one of the renaissance of horror movies as well in the last couple of years. I would add him to that.
They said that a third.
Obviously, he's not a Gen Z. Is 45 Gen X?
That would probably be a millennial, actually.
So he's like an elder. He's like the eldest of millennials.
Right. They mentioned in Variety that a third installment in this like horror renaissance coming up next would be Paramount's Scary Movie that's coming out in a few weeks.
That is a legacy sequel satire made by the Wayans brothers, who are like 40, who got to be in their 50s by now. No. Somebody's like, one movie scary, the other movie says scary in the title.
Yeah, it's not at all comparable. But yeah, it's good to see white dudes winning. You know, it's a nice thing when that happens, because they actually did have to swim upstream in multiple different ways.
And this is
and
going to
definitely get more of a leg up if they were minorities or women.
There is some humiliation on the horizon for He-Man, which comes out like this coming weekend, and it's not going to make a whole lot of money. I'm going to be there. Me and like 3 other people are going to be there to watch Jared Leto Jared Leto? Yeah.
Is it Jared Leto?
See the one?
Oh, right, yes.
As Skeletor. Yes.
Right.
So
right.
It's not going to be pretty, but you know, we've got a ways off until everybody gets mad about the Odyssey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the meantime, but Toy Story 5 is going to make a boatload of money too.
I just can't believe the hype right now for this Taylor Swift song on the Toy Story 5 soundtrack. Like, who literally cares?
She unintentionally ages the franchise when she's like, I'm so excited to make a song about this franchise that I've loved since I was 5 years old.
They've got the director saying, like, she understands Jessie so well. Like, who cares? Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I feel like I'm like an alien that just crash landed. When I see shit like that.
Let's move on. Let's talk about Euphoria. It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
We have more good news on the horizon. Euphoria is officially over. Thank heavens. We can all celebrate not having to see any more rage bait discourse about this show ever again. Finally, HBO and Sam Levinson have confirmed that season 3 is the final season of Euphoria, which we already kind of knew, but they weren't willing to come out and say it until the final episode dropped this past Sunday. And Sam Levinson did an exclusive interview with the New York Times about why he chose to end it in the way he did. Let's just not even pretend to give a spoiler warning. I'm going to tell you because you probably don't care. Zendaya's character, Rue, dies in this episode of an overdose. And I believe they also mention elsewhere that Jacob Elordi's character, Nate, dies by the end of the show. They write here, for Sam Levinson, the writer, director, and creator of Euphoria, I would like to mention Euphoria is not actually his creation. It was a show in Israel before he took it up. But anyway, the death of a major character at the end of the show's 3rd season on Sunday was the unavoidable tragedy that lurks all too close to any story of modern addiction. It also meant that HBO's hit was finished for good, despite the careful language of its mastermind and network, who never referred in advance to the final episode as a series finale. He says, in terms of the story that we set out to tell, which is a story about addiction and its consequences, this feels like the end to me. With the fatal overdose of Rue Bennett, the opiate addict played by Zendaya since 2019, on fentanyl-laced pills, Euphoria is over, HBO confirmed. The Euphoria story is a tragic one in the end, but it's also the truth. If you're experimenting or taking drugs today, it's very possible it will kill you. And they mention that Zendaya's character's father in the series goes on a revenge. He goes on to avenge her death with killing the drug dealer that gave her these laced pills as a sort of tribute to one of the cast members who died during the production.
Yeah, it was Angus MacLeod, right?
Yeah. So they said that was a way of honoring Angus Cloud and saying a prayer for the future. Sam Levinson was talking about how this is maybe a more realistic depiction than people expected. While the core characters remained, despite added logistical hurdles of super fame for its actors, the show ended a world away from the glittery, montage-heavy stylization of American youth where it began. Season 3 traded high school hallways and house parties for Western frontier expanse, exploring the underworlds of Nazi drug smugglers, strip clubs, sex traffickers, and those aspiring to notoriety by any means. Early reviews skewed negative, reigniting pushback against Sam Levinson's hyperdrive depictions of nudity, violence, drug use, and race, while questioning the consistency in character development. Levinson, himself a former addict, described staying true to his vision, his approach to shooting sensitive subject matter, and the limits of empathy. So they did get into his choices in showing a lot of nudity throughout the show. And he actually said he pumped the brakes at one point, to the chagrin of Sydney Sweeney.
She was like, hey,
anyone surprised?
Not on my watch, she says.
Yeah. He says Sydney Sweeney refused to let Euphoria cut out nude scenes in the 3rd season. He said, it's funny. When I first wrote it, I was like, maybe we shoot all of this and we don't have any nudity. Maybe there's ways to shoot around certain things. And Sydney looked at me and she said, are you kidding? I'm playing an OF model. You're telling me you're going to skirt around it? And I was like, yeah, okay, that's a fair point.
She has a point. Look, there's nothing more sad than network television strip clubs on TV.
Right. Levinson also confronted complaints that there is nudity when there doesn't need to be in the first 2 seasons, saying from the script, you get a sense of what the role requires. Even when you go up to audition, let's use the role of Cassie, you know the role requires a certain amount of nudity. Are you comfortable? If they're comfortable, they get the role. Then the next layer is the intimacy coordinator. I think it's a SAG rule that if an actor then says, after getting cast, actually, I don't want to do that, we can't force them to do a scene. You can write them out of the show, though. So we all know that it's technically in the rule book, but you can definitely use your leverage against them for making a choice like that. And it should be noted that, to my knowledge at least, Zendaya never had to show full frontal in this show because she was, from the beginning to the end, the most famous person in the cast. So she had the leverage.
There's a 20 here from Shane H. Wilder. It says, white dude here. I've been working on a haunted house film script from an idea by Tim. One character does not go because they would miss mass. It is a major plot point. The role is yours, Mary, if you want it.
Okay, well, shoot me a DM. I want to hear more about it.
You're like, sorry.
I don't know about my future as an actor, but we'll see. And in regard to the snippet here about Sydney Sweeney, I quote tweeted this and said it's funny, actually, that they thought showing nudity would make this more realistic because in reality, tons of the top earners on OF actually don't make that money by showing everything. They have accounts that don't show full nudity or even close.
That's what I was saying. She can end up being like the Trisha Helfer or the Shannon Elizabeth of OF, where they just make her, I guess her character doesn't have fame in her prior history to give any type of explanation as to why you would sign up for her and not somebody else, even though she's not showing anything, if that makes sense. Right. Yeah. I pointed that out and people were like, you don't know, but all of them show nudity and they're lying about it. In reality, they're all lying about showing nudity, and then you subscribe and find out that they are not. That is what's happening with a lot of these people. So I don't really think that. I think that's what happened with portray it realistically. That's what happened with Lil Tay. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So that is kind of. It doesn't make sense to me that she was saying that would skirt around the issue. Mm-hmm. And then in regard to her co-star, Alexa Demie, she spoke about being uncomfortable with filming nudity during the first season of Euphoria. Now, at the time, she was basically a nobody, as were most of the cast in comparison to Zendaya. She said, I'm not saying I don't love sex and that I think it can be portrayed beautifully. And I know the show is portraying the life of teenage girls. But once I did it, I realized, okay, I don't love how this feels. So I said something and everyone was empathetic and I never did that again. So she is saying, I basically feel weird about portraying underage sex in this show as a grown adult woman. Mm-hmm. Which is a normal response to have.
but you're going to get demoted for saying something. And that is exactly what happened. Actually, she responded to the discourse online about how her career has not taken off in comparison to her co-stars. And she said she's happy with her career choices. It's like, did you ever think that I don't want it? People really take the authority out of your hands. What happened to my ability to choose? I like my life like this, and I wouldn't change it. Basically, people are saying that Sydney Sweeney got way more opportunities after being in Euphoria than Alexa Demie did, and they blamed it on racism because Alexa Demie is Latina. And they actually mentioned here in the Sam Levinson interview that he was going against the grain by casting her as Maddie, who was originally imagined to be a blonde. They said they imagined a blonde cheerleader. I remember pulling her aside and giving her some tips. I think she was wearing something red, and I knew the execs would immediately think, oh, she's too Latin. So I told her not to wear red to soften up to what I knew would be their initial perception. There have been a couple moments in my career where I know an actor is right for something and think to myself, if we can't get on the same page about this, then we're not making the same show, and maybe I'm not interested in making whatever it is you're making.
Her story sounds like, you know what she could have done? She could have gone the Courtney Hengler route. She's the lady who played Daniel's wife on Cobra Kai. And after Cobra Kai was done, she's just like, I quit. She stopped acting.
I have no memory of her from the show.
She's the mom on Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
and she just, when Cobra Kai's done, she's like, I don't want to do it anymore. She called her managers and she's just like, I'm done.
I just find it harder to believe in Alexa Demie's case, to be honest.
Well, I think Courtney Hengler's like in her late 40s, so she's been at it a long time, and she's just like, I finally got the role, I secured the bag, I think I'm done.
Well, this is why I'm just trying to say it's not really about are you comfortable? It's are you comfortable with the risk of losing out on future opportunities by not taking your clothes off now? And that's why people write memoirs 20 years down the line about how they did things they didn't want to do.
But the thing is, that's what the executives will do to get them to do it. They're like, look, maybe it hurts your career, maybe it doesn't. Either way, you get to write the book in 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
So
everyone wins out in the end.
There will be money to be made.
Yeah, sure. But it's like still the reality that Zendaya had the ability to, get what she wanted because of her cachet, and the other stars had to take their clothes off.
But that's just Hollywood.
Implicitly.
That is Hollywood in a nutshell. The bigger you are, the more power you have over where your career goes. She had all the bargaining power. They had none of it. And there is no vision of Hollywood where that's not the case. It's just not the way things work.
It would be nice if they didn't portray themselves as being so open and empathetic and understanding in the process. Just be honest.
Yep. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about the looks matching TikTok couple, or the potential of a looks matching TikTok couple.
So I just came across this influencer couple. Brooke Monk posted a TikTok talking about how she feels being the ugly one in her relationship. It was this long rant about how people are constantly pointing out how much better looking her boyfriend is compared to her, and how she feels about that. And of course, that doesn't change that they love each other and that he's a great guy who loves her for who she really is on the inside. But people online make a lot of assumptions about who pulled who. And they, only feed into all of this discourse by doing a stunt like this. It was a video they did together where she takes off her makeup and they compare each other, seeing who mogs who. And everyone is saying that he is the better looking of the pair. Now, I don't think if he truly respected her that he would allow her to post the video that she posted, including this one, or the rant about calling herself ugly. Like, if you really care about this girl, you wouldn't let her go on this public platform and, demean herself in this way. but he's allowing the discourse to take place nonetheless. What I'm seeing here, in my opinion, is maybe not a stone cold looks match, but a lukewarm looks match.
What do you mean? I don't know where the what counts as a stone cold looks match, but they look perfectly matched to me.
Everyone is saying that she's like 4 points lower than him. I don't know. I can't tell anymore. To me, I mean, maybe it's just my age is showing, but this guy looks like, well, he looks like a kid, but he kind of looks girly to me. So I don't find that attractive. I don't really understand what everyone is talking about. He's quite androgynous looking, and I know that there are a lot of women these days who think that that's really attractive, but personally, I'm like, leave me out of that. And yeah, she has really dramatic makeup that does drastically change her appearance on camera. But that's also like what she does for a living. She's an influencer.
Her eyebrows doubled in size to I have a hard time getting a fade in my haircut. She's got like a fade in her eyebrows. It's amazing.
Well, I go to her page and the first link on her page is selling fake eyelashes. This is part of her job.
Okay.
You know, so it's kind of comes with the territory of what she does for a living. She's an influencer. And most of their posts together are sponsored trips. You know, her pinned post is a trip to Vienna sponsored by Swarovski and all of this other stuff. She's partnered on every post. It's always an ad. So they're using this to get more eyes on their content, of course. And they both seem quite obsessed with themselves as individuals, and they use their relationship for views, which I think is gross in general. So I can't really feel that bad for them. But this response said, this poor girl posted a video about how she is aware that she's the ugly one in her relationship. We need to start praising people for being vulnerable enough on social media to show their imperfect sides, instead of being horrible and critiquing women for wearing makeup. I would say the opposite. Let's stop praising vulnerability and start telling people to keep things to themselves, because what you're about to see is actually pathetic. Let's just play the video and hear her words.
Be wary. We're playing it at 2 times speed.
Yeah. Okay. I do this all the time on TikTok.
Here we go.
I don't have patience.
My experience being the uglier person in my relationship is so funny, and I feel like it's definitely exaggerated being on the internet. At least my perception of how people view it is exaggerated because I am.
Is it on screen? I don't see it.
But it's no secret that my boyfriend Sam, he's a beautiful human being. Like inside and out, he's a gorgeous human being. And I was very aware of that when we first started dating. So I was like, wow, I really aimed high, and he happened to like me. So I was like, oh, really? But I've always been very aware of that. I clearly like to wear a lot of makeup, like to do myself up. But he's just naturally more beautiful than me. Like it's not a secret. There's nothing wrong.
It's kind of hard. I think for it might be kind of hard for people. Let's try 150.
Okay. Yeah.
just cause.
I'm just used to this at this point, so I don't hear it.
Hold on. We'll do 150.
That he just is. But my experience on the internet with that has been so fascinating, because we recently did a video where we were like, oh, you're so perfect, like as a couple, and then like I was like, no makeup, no hair, whatever, and I was like, this is funny because I have a huge difference, obviously, because like I do my hair, I do my makeup, yada yada yada, and he just looks the same because he wakes up looking that gorgeous, and I was like, this is like kind of fun, like it's funny the fact that he is so beautiful, and I clearly have a massive change in my appearance, and I'm not saying I'm like ugly necessarily, but he's better looking than me. It's funny, like it's not, like, no one needs to get in a tussle over it. It's an objective truth. But the response from people, especially like men, not all men, not calling out all men, but especially men, they get genuinely angry at the fact that Sam is with me and he's better looking than me. Like that ignites some kind of anger in them, which is so fascinating to me, just like as a person. And one thing I have discovered over time and years of being on the internet is that one of the worst things you can do as a woman is not be deemed attractive. It just is what it is. People automatically view you as lesser than if you're not attractive, and it's dumb and it's untrue, but it is how people treat you. So it's funny because I'll go through phases where on the internet people will be like, oh, you're kind of good looking, and then no, wait, why does everyone like you? You're ugly. And I'm like, not like whatever, it doesn't really matter. But the response is so fascinating to me when it specifically pertains to Sam and I being together, because people can't fathom the idea that a beautiful man would choose to be with a woman that they deem less attractive than him, which again, he's objectively better looking. It's not a secret. I'm like, why? Why is that so peculiar to people? Because I know it's more common, objectively speaking, with like women, beautiful women being with men that are less attractive than them. And no one like bats an eye at that. They're like, oh yeah, she's a beautiful woman, of course, I'm lucky to have her. But the other way around, everyone's like, you're a villain, and he should be with someone else because you're ugly. Like, that is such an interesting way of thinking. And the funniest part about it is no matter how much people get themselves in a tussle and stress over the fact that Sam is better looking than me, and that's just like the worst thing I could ever do is be with a man that's better looking than me, it doesn't change the fact that we're together, and it's not gonna change the fact that we're together, and it doesn't change the fact that he loves me and we've been together for years. Like, it's such a non-issue. But it is a fascinating experience as a person to just like be vulnerable and be open and be like, hey, this is just what I look like. Whatever. It's not something to obsess over. And have people be genuinely infuriated and like make videos on videos on videos about how, oh, her career's over, she's ugly, and oh, like, look at her versus her boyfriend, like, how could you guys watch her, she's ugly, and like, why is the moral all-encompassing truth, whether you like an individual or not how they treat people in their heart, but how attractive they are. And I think that's kind of sad as a society, but at the same time, it's just kind of how it is. Anyway, that's my experience.
Okay.
So the angle is, it doesn't bother me, I just find it fascinating. I don't believe that it doesn't bother her, otherwise she wouldn't have felt the need to post this. I think it does bother her, and that is exactly why she shouldn't have posted it. And that's causing more people to talk about it. She Streisand affected it, and there's all this discourse now on X. One person said, men are naturally more attractive than women on average. That's why women need makeup. This isn't me being gay, it's science. Look at a peacock or a cardinal, male versus female. Females get mogged. Greek statues dedicated to the peak aesthetic form, overwhelmingly men. Now, it's neither here nor there that
Wait, is this because there's like
in Greece, men were definitely doing butt stuff with each other.
Is this because I saw like a tweet over the weekend that showed like supposedly the peak male form, it takes 5 years of intense training and blah 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 blah. Peak female form, don't eat ice cream at 2 in the morning. That was like, that's how you
I didn't
achieve
see that.
peak female form. All of it is just so who has time for this? Like, my job requires me to talk about it right now, and I don't have time for this shit. Who has time for this?
I feel the same way.
Worry about
And
your own shit.
like she said, I really don't understand why it gets people so fired up. Like, it is kind of fascinating that anyone cares. They feel like angry on this guy's behalf that he's not with the baddie that he deserves. That something is inherently gay about the fact that all of these men are like enamored with another man to the point where they are hating on his relationship where he's apparently happy.
Yeah.
And I know she's saying it doesn't matter at the end of the day because we're in love and we don't have these problems. It's other people on the outside of our relationship saying all of these things. But I believe if that were really true, she wouldn't be feeding into this nonsense. I don't get it. I agree with you, Brett. I don't get the instinct to comment on it even.
I guess it's like, look, X is like ground zero for the gender debate, right? Yeah. And everybody's trying to get one over on the other guy or the other girl, for that matter, and they want to fight about it. And it's a combination of it being the easiest way to get clicks because it activates something in people. To feel, like I said, there was that post that Phil commented on that I saw where somebody's like, why is it that every time you tell an American that America sucks, they get so upset about it? Like when you insult someone and then they're like, oh, why are you so mad about it? Which is obviously stupid and you know exactly why. But people know that these types of things activate something in people. I just don't understand where I guess it's the offshoot of that whole debate about makeup, right? That's what Brian Atlas was talking about in his post, and it always comes back to makeup.
Well, it becomes everyone's pet issue. You can kind of interpret it however you want as an excuse to talk about your pet issue, whatever is the flavor of the week. For some people, it's hoflation. For some people, it's makeup. For some people, it's hypergamy.
Oh, there was physique inflation I saw.
Physique inflation.
The other day. My God. Look, I am too busy focusing on like, so in the last month, I've increased my steps per day to like averaging about 1,200 or about 12,000 a day, and picking up my time increases on running so that I can feel better rather than worrying and hoping that in turn also helps you look better. It doesn't help that my diet sucks. But the point is I'm focusing more on what I can do about my own appearance. The outward discussion about other people's feels like a weird form of projection where it's like you can't control what's going on in your own life, so you're focusing on projecting it outwards at other people.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, I don't have any sort of animosity toward either of these influencers aside from just the fact that they're influencers.
I felt like she was not humble bragging, But it's a little bit of...
It's a little bit fishing for compliments, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of selfish. And
But
like
at
when
the
I
same
look
time-
at that, when I look at her boyfriend, I'm just like, there's something in the water. Like I swear, like men in their early 20s did not used to look like that, and
They
nothing
did.
good is happening.
They did.
Third-
They did when you were in your 20s too, or when you were in your early 20s or whatever. When you were younger, that was the same thing. If anything,
Well, no, I mean, I'm talking about like in terms of decades. You know,
Okay.
like men in decades past did not look like that in their early 20s.
no,
They looked
not
like men.
not in your time, or even
Now they
perhaps
look
even-
like pubescent string beans. It's weird.
But
like
also-
they look female. I honestly, like, I'm not even trying to bully the kid. Like,
I also think
he is attractive. He has a modeling job. Like, good for him. But there's something weird going on.
there's
Like
it's-
hormonally, chemically.
Do you think part of it might be the way that teenagers have been portrayed in media, which is still done to this day, where the 18-year-old is actually a jacked 26-year-old dude playing a...
Okay, there is part of that that's like how we perceive different age groups in media, yes, but I mean, I saw a family member's portrait from many decades ago.
Mhm.
At 16, this man, he looked like a grown man.
Mhm.
And not because he looked old or weathered, but just because hormonally people were, in balance in a way that they are not now. And something really weird is happening. Again, I don't say that to be petty.
Somebody mentioned
toward
Justin.
him,
Leif in the chat mentioned Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber, when he was when did Beauty and the Beat came out? He's like 18 or something at that time, maybe 20.
so.
So he looked young. He always
It was
looked
really
young.
stupid when he was like 13 and people were making fun of him for looking 13.
Yes.
Like, that was really weird that people felt so, I don't know. There was a lot of toxicity being sent his way at the time.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's guys, just avoid this debate. You're better off just focusing on yourself, King.
Yeah. And also, like, let's not talk about all of these vulnerable things online in general.
All right. Let's go to Super Chats then.
All right. Burned Oils. Did we miss any 20s, by the way?
I don't think
just
so.
wanna make sure.
I think we're
Okay.
good.
Burned Oils said, as of late, Mary looks like she has been buying Barbies at Target, dressing them like Sydney Sweeney, and jumping on them real hard. LOL. Mary let go of the pointless 8 already. Like the number.
Something that I don't understand. I've seen multiple people say that you have like a hate, like you hate Sydney Sweeney. I've never seen. You've always seemed to approach Sydney Sweeney as in like the most analytical way possible.
I think I do, personally. And I mean, I call balls and strikes. Like, if she does something stupid, as she did in this 3rd season, I am going to call it out for what it is.
Mhm.
I don't hate her, but I guess if that makes you horny to think that Sydney Sweeney and I are competing for your attention, go right ahead. And
She's
live
too
your
busy
life,
in Times
know?
Square with her boyfriend, Scooter Braun.
Here's what I think. Number 1, you got to pay more money to Super Chat without like doing this. You can add $1 or $2 so you can put spaces in between the words. And also, secondly, you might have undiagnosed schizophrenia. Okay, so maybe seek help for that. Happy Pride Month, everyone. This is the second one. I'm proud to be straight and a PCC member. Also proud to not be a doom scroll addict like little Mary.
Are you a doom
Are we
scroll
gonna
addict?
Talk about our screen time. Let's talk about it. I have a very embarrassing screen time, but it's also like scrolling is part of the job, so there's no way around it.
So mine has been a lot less lately, but still more than I would like it to be, and work is the very convenient excuse that I can always use.
Well, look, I don't think it's an excuse, honestly, because it is part of our job. It is. That's just a fact. It is part of the job to know what's going on social media. So there's no way around it. Personally, I don't know what everyone is talking about when they're like, oh, like my social media gives me anxiety and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, maybe that's true. But take accountability for your own phone usage.
Well, yeah, it's still your responsibility.
It's not even just that. It's like I see things on my phone that make me happy, you know? Like I use Pinterest and I watch funny little videos of cats on Instagram, and that makes me smile. And you got to make your phone work for you, you know? Like don't let the phone have all the power. You have to be the alpha in your relationship with your phone.
Okay, I'll tell you how it gives me anxiety, but it's not tied to the content itself. It's tied to how it affects my work. So one of my problems is we're talking about Kane Parsons and I want to call him Barker Curry, and Curry Barker today. And the problem is with any topic, eventually I've looked through so many takes, I can't organize my own thoughts.
Yeah,
because
I agree with that.
I'm looking, I'm categorizing, I'm trying to figure out what information matters more than others. And then I end up having no take because I've taken in too much information and none of it sticks well enough to organize in any coherent manner. There's got to be some type of sweet spot. I think that's why, like, when you're not on the show, I like to do things that involve, like, studies that have been done because it gives everybody a chance to talk. And it's a simplistic form of, like, a specific type of information. You can form whatever your thoughts are on that information yourself. But if you're taking stories that are happening in the news right now, whether it's The Mandalorian, whether it's Obsession, or any of these movies, you're mired in just endless takes. What do they consider important based on their life experience, or what angle are they attacking it from? And it just ends up being more annoying to me than anything. This is why I don't watch movie reviews before I review a movie, because I don't want my thoughts to be kind of colored by what somebody else has said about it. And then afterwards, inevitably, I watch somebody else's review. I'm like, God, I wish I could do that. Like, I watched Jeremy John's movie reviews, and his way of attacking movie reviews by condensing down his thoughts into like a 6 or 7 minute video. I don't think he gets enough appreciation for how intelligent his stuff is. But it's very hard to do on the daily topics because it's just discourse. That's why I make fun of the word discourse. Everything is just fucking discourse now. Pardon my French.
And this happened for me in a context unrelated to the show recently. So everybody was talking, at least on my feed, about the new papal encyclical from Pope Leo. It's actually his first of his reign as Pope, and it focuses a lot on AI. So that's something people feel strongly about. And whether they like the Pope or not, and whether they like AI or not, is going to color their opinion of the encyclical without having read the whole thing and understood it in full context. So I saw a lot of people who were basically like gay libs loving the encyclical and saying it's this awesome manifesto against AI. And then there were other people having a more measured take on it. You know, maybe some curmudgeonly trads who didn't care for it as much. And I was like, I'm going to stop listening to all of these people and what their opinion is on the encyclical, and I'm going to just hunker down and read it myself. And I decided to do it in the most analog way possible, because at first I thought I'll find an audio version of it, but it felt wrong to read it in that way with an AI voice reading it to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the source. And what I've done so far, I have 2 more chapters to go. There are 5. And I have sat down and just read it to myself out loud, so I retain the information more.
Yeah. Yep.
I like it way better that way. And there's a lot of good stuff in there. I'm thinking about making a video related to it, but not because I want to share my take. I don't really have much value to add to a document that long and exhaustive on the subject. I just want to share like my favorite excerpts from it.
Yeah.
I'm still working through it. I have 2 more chapters to go. Reading it out loud to myself as well, so I can't go for long stretches without losing my voice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably finish it either tonight or tomorrow.
That's one of the reasons that I take notes, even though I don't always refer to them on the show. The information sticks better if I write the notes down rather than like, even if all I'm doing is copying down something from a tweet, I use it more as a way of like organizing my thoughts about what order I want to talk about a topic in. And I find that the information sticks better when I retype it out rather than just read it a bunch of times.
Reading something out loud is my primary way of learning now. That's how I prepare for the show most of the time, actually. I start reading things out loud.
Now that you're not in the same room as me and you don't look crazy.
Yeah, because that would be super annoying if I were just on the other side of the room dictating to
I'd be
you.
making like a video one day where I'd be like, bro.
It's probably the best thing about it is that I don't have to bother you with reading stuff out loud for an hour.
I'm just like, you're doing it. I'm like, bro, she's still going.
Yeah, but it is really helpful. It's proven to be very helpful for retaining the information and having quick recall. Anyway, Katie said, on the weekend, I did see an anti-capitalism school poster at a bus stop in my town teaching socialism. My city has fallen. That's unfortunate. What are you doing?
Somebody in the chat said, Brett, put your eyebrows back on. It's going like this.
What do you mean?
They're reattached.
They didn't go anywhere.
They're still there, I think.
Boss End said, Warhammer fans want it right, not fast. Also, hi, Mary. Well, as we know, just because production is delayed doesn't mean that's because they're perfecting it. So
yeah,
I would caution against that assumption. Shane H. Wilder said, sorry, YouTube makes me write things weird, and I was talking about the not saying what Franco Aurelio's number was. My contact list is getting bigger, LOL. Oh, yeah. I mean, we definitely wouldn't want to leak Franco's number live on stream. Shane H. Wilder said, Bonnie Blue lies when the truth would be better. Very true. Manic Attack said she needs to be arrested. I don't care if it's legal. I like your thinking. I like where this is going. You know, if Bonnie Blue's only service to humanity is inching people closer toward fascism, I have to salute her for that. Robert Delera said, Bonnie Blue trying so hard to get attention. Her fame won't last because people will always roll their eyes at her actions and it will get tiresome. Well, they're rolling their eyes, but some people are legitimately scandalized and shocked by what they're seeing and hearing from her. So maybe there is still a line that we don't want people to cross. Pop Culture Junkie said, I've heard that Warhammer is gummed up in the works at Amazon MGM due to difficulties in adapting the massive amount and complexity of the IP.
I found this article from way back in January. It says Games Workshop addresses long wait for Henry Cavill's Warhammer series. They literally say don't expect it anytime soon.
Oh.
Cavill's Warhammer 40K cinematic universe is shrouded in mystery, and Games Workshop itself has cautioned fans not to expect to see anything of it for some time. But it is now over 3 years since Games Workshop's deal with Amazon was announced, and fans have yet to see anything or hear anything tangible about it. In its latest financial results, the long and short of it is that Games Workshop is doing tremendously well and making loads of money. CEO Kevin Roundtree addressed the elephant in the room, just what is going on with the Amazon stuff. Quote, we continue to work on some exciting projects that will bring Warhammer to screens like never before, he said. Keeping his cards close to the chest, he goes on, our live-action endeavor is still in development with our partners Amazon MGM, Henry Cavill, and Vertigo. It is the nature of these things to take several years, and while we wish we could tie down a release the way we can with our core business, the reality is that with any licensing deal, delivery is not in our control. We leave it to our partners to manage their own businesses. So they're like, so we farmed it out to Amazon, and it's in production hell over there. Henry Cavill's calling Jeff Bezos every day, brother, what do I got to do to get this show done?
Amazon is in the habit of doing shit like this.
That's okay. They got sheep detectives out this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, Sheep Detective was one of the movies that people were citing in this conversation about Backrooms and Obsession.
Yep.
Like the fact that it's an original story that we haven't heard of before.
It's not I mean, it's based on a book series.
Right. But I mean, Backrooms in a certain sense is also based on something, but not quite on the level of Star Wars, you know?
Yep.
Not even close, actually.
I would Sheep Detectives I will likely watch once it hits streaming again. It was great.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Is this an R. Kelly baby shower?"
No.
Gross. Yeah, basically. You got it right. Weary Traveler said, "Curry Barker is from my home state of Alabama." I believe that's where they filmed the movie as well. Over the span of 20 days.
Yep. Wow.
Very impressive.
I didn't know that.
Burned Oils. Wait, okay. A good movie plot would be Mary being romantically rejected by her crush Sydney Sweeney, and Mary finally having a reason to be upset at her.
Wait, so now you're not now you're always nice to her? I'm so confused.
I don't know. I think this guy is writing too much fan fiction. Moon at Noon sent an emoticon earlier. I'm not totally sure what it is. Oh, it's like a cat and a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
That's creative.
Well, no, it looks like, yeah, okay. I mean, I see the cat ears now a little bit, and then a rose, and then a angel emoji.
I like that.
A halo. Of
Bossen said, "No one would believe that movie burned Mary greater than symbol Sydney."
There you go.
I also don't know what that means. Robert Delera said, "Are people forgetting Jordan Peele in the horror genre? He has done pretty well with his movies."
That's a fair point. We didn't think to mention him, but he also has his own production company, and I'm guessing his movies don't cost $750K. I'm guessing they're even higher than the $10 million budget of Backrooms.
It would be cool if he could direct a movie that isn't about white people being scary.
$4.5 million to make Get Out.
Get Out was good.
Yeah.
I stand by that. But, you know, let's just not beat a dead horse. You know what I'm saying?
Nope cost $68 million. Damn.
Shane H. Wilder. Oh, you read that one earlier. Man Bear Cow TV said, "OF girls who don't like what? D makes MBC a sad panda." I don't understand that either.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
Continue.
What?
He's saying OF girls that don't like D. It's a euphemism for penis.
Well, yeah, I got that part, but what does the rest of it mean?
Says it makes him sad. MBC is him, Man Bear Cow.
Oh, I was like, what?
It's like it's a euphemism.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Which one's the chick?"
Boom, got him.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Manic Attack said, "Mary got baited by Asmongold. LOL, LMAO even."
How did you get baited by Asmi? Oh, did he have something to say about the men and women stuff?
Yeah. The thing is, though, even if that's not his real opinion, it's definitely the real opinion of everybody who is replying to it. Corey Anderson said she has big brains. She looks better than him.
Talking about the...
I mean, not according to a lot of these people on X. So, yeah, it's hard to tell. Shane H. Wilder said, "Something is weird when a dude looks like he's never grown facial hair in their life. There is clean shaven and then whatever
Well,
that
I mean,
is."
how old was he? How old is that guy?
I don't know. I think they're both in their early 20s by the looks of it. But the thing is, I don't want to be petty and like just say something mean about this guy for no reason. But also, they are looking for attention.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for people to compare them and comment on their appearances. So it's only fair, right? And I did think that he looked girly. Like that was my first thought about him. So I don't know why everyone is saying that he's mogging. Dingus Khan of Gongolia said, "Peyton Toll is a great example of an old-looking Gen Z male. He's a 22-year-old Boston Red Sox prospect."
Okay.
I've never heard of him or seen him before.
So he's been outside playing baseball all day. That's why his face is weathered.
They need more UV exposure, I think, to make up for lost time.
Oh, I mean, it's the mustache doing all the work on this guy for sure.
I don't know. I see guys in their 20s with mustaches these days, and like they still just they look 12 with a mustache. You know, like
he's looking pretty. He's looking pretty. You know, he's right.
I can only see him in like just a tiny corner of the screen. But yeah, you're right. He doesn't. I wouldn't say 22 if I were guessing his age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Robert Delara said, Mary, I don't think you hate Sydney Sweeney. I just think you're disappointed in some of her decision makings. You're just being honest. I try to be. Yeah. She just started her new production company, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting tidbit. We didn't.
It's called No Davino.
Yeah, it's kind of messy because she started her first production company with her ex-boyfriend, and then when things went south, they had to dissolve it. Maybe it went to him. I don't know how that stuff works.
That's a big Davino from me, dog.
That one was 50-50. And then the new one is called Honey Trap.
Okay, the irony would have been if, like,
strange name.
It would have been ironic if they kept making movies and splitting things 50-50 after they broke up. That would have been.
Yeah, I mean, if they're really true consummate professionals, that's what they would have done. But no, Honey Trap is the new production company that she just started. And people are making jokes about how Scooter Braun is like her handler now. I don't know what to make of all that. Stefan Buttle, I don't know what that even means. Whatever. I'm not going to read that one. Pop Culture Junkie said, since I started to watch you folks, I do a lot less scrolling. Thank you for doing my scrolling for me.
That is a gift,
That's
my
what
friend.
makes this nourishing content.
If I was ever to say that this channel had some type of positive altruistic purpose, that would be the one I would hope that we could provide for you.
We're discourse curators.
Yeah.
It's like a museum of slop.
Yep.
Shane H. Wilder said, it's the month of the Sacred Heart. Absolutely. We will not recognize the other label for June. It's the month of the Sacred Heart and nothing else. Weary Traveler said, when Brett takes his glasses off, it looks like he doesn't have eyebrows. I don't think so. I can see his eyebrows just fine, with or without glasses. Yeah,
because they like go into my eyes.
I don't think so. Y'all are nitpicking. Weary Traveler said, does Mary use her finger to follow the sentence? Like when I'm reading? No. I just read it out loud. I mean, that's kind of how people always learned before mass literacy, if you think about it. By hearing something and repeating it.
I'm so sorry. We have some chats from members that did not get read, so I gotta read these. Yes,
okay, guys,
because those don't show up on your.
Populate on my end, as far as I know. I don't see the member chats on my end.
This is from Corey Anderson, member for 3 months. Says, "Have you seen The Crash on Netflix? Those are the worst parents ever, and are directly responsible for their daughter's behavior."
I have never seen that.
I don't know what that is. And then he put hashtag crazy Gen Z women.
Sounds accurate. Yeah.
And then we had one more from Man Bear Cow TV. Says, funny songs from funny people by Man Bear Cow featuring I'm Losing My Shit, Circus Clown, and Laughing Song is out now on Spotify and streaming services.
It's an incredibly long title.
Yeah. Well, I think he's saying that Man Bear Cow is, and then featuring, those are all different songs. I'm Losing My Shit, Circus Clown, and Laughing Song are different songs.
Oh, okay.
They're not like the three
people.
It was
all one song title. Okay. Is that all of the member chats?
Yes, yeah, we're all caught up.
Okay. We got to figure out how to make those populate on my end so that I don't miss those. Shane H. Wilder said, I read the encyclical and thought it was well done. It was reminiscent on Leo XIII's encyclical during the Industrial Revolution. Yeah, it was a bit of a slog for the first 2 chapters because it's like at the beginning of a rap song where like all of the DJ tags have to be read off in order before you really get into the first verse. The whole thing is like every other encyclical being referenced before we get into the subject matter, but it is worthy to be there for context. The 3rd chapter, if anyone is interested, the 3rd chapter is where things get spicy. Ryan Bledsoe said, yeah, that 2x speed had me like, WTF, who's that rapping on here? I was about to slow it down to 0.5. I guess I just don't even hear it anymore because I put 2x speed on like most videos at this point.
I've never done that in my
Sounds
entire
normal
life.
to me now.
Gives me anxiety just thinking about it.
Man Bear Cow TV said, Mary 100%. Peele's movies are anti-white propaganda. A lot of people disagree with me on this, but it's true. I don't like that they're... I mean, you can make a horror movie without it being about white people are scary. Like, I believe you're capable of doing that. But it has yet to be proven. Corey Anderson said, I may have missed it, but did you read my super chat about the crash? It was a member 3-month super chat.
I got that, yep.
Yes, we got to that. Pop Culture Junkie said, Mary's Museum of Slop has a nice ring to it.
It does.
There has to be, like, at some point, like a shit posting museum. Do you know what I mean?
How would
Where you can have a curated selection of all of the best shit posts of all time. Maybe I should come up with that.
You should do that.
I'll be the person who does it.
There you go.
Stefan Buttle said, put lead back in gasoline.
I saw the thing about that they're diluting.
Oh, they're watering it down.
They're watering down the gasoline now. F them. Yeah, and you're not like...
I'm so tired of winning. I cannot get enough of it.
Yeah,
Please
but
stop the winning.
At the same time,
I can't take it anymore.
At the same time, I see everybody just endlessly dunking on on Freedom 250, and I'm like, okay, let's move on to the next thing.
But yeah, I feel like people are kind of scapegoating Freedom 250 for all of their unvoiced concerns and complaints with this administration that they don't feel they're at liberty to share.
I do feel that changing the name from America 250 to Freedom 250 was in itself a partisan act. Yes.
Absolutely.
It should have remained America 250.
I totally agree. Stefan Buttle said, YouTube won't let me say that without doing that. That's really weird. They won't let you talk about lead and gasoline? Okay. Yikes. Shane H. Wilder said chapter 3 is a banger. Yeah, I have 4 and 5 left, so maybe those will prove to be even better. But chapter 3 has been the highlight so far. I also feel like it helps me understand what all of it means when I say it out loud, because I'm able to place an emphasis where it's intended. And I mean, in ages past, you, as an average layperson, would not have the internet or literacy to read it privately for yourself and interpret it on your own. So this is the best thing I can come up with, second best option. Do we have any more super chats, or are we all caught up here?
There's one more here from Brian Bledsoe. 2 more. One from High Voltage 75 says, Mary, how are you celebrating Pride Month?
I can't say. I don't know if that's going to be incriminating.
Brian Bledsoe also asks, will any of you be in DC for the 4th?
For the 4th?
I would rather step on a Lego barefoot than be in Washington, D.C. over the 4th of July.
But you hate D.C. already.
I already hate D.C. I hate how busy it is. But yeah, the idea of doing that is that would be a Geneva Convention violation for me. I'm not doing that. And I get to use, because my birthday's around that time, so I can use that as my excuse. Be like, my birthday gift to myself is not going to DC on the 4th of July.
I haven't solidified my my July 4th plans, but I know that it has to go hard this year specifically. So wherever I am, probably not in DC, I'm going to make sure that it's a fun day.
And one more, we got a 20 from Not That John Stewart, who just says, sup, bro. All right. All right. Well,
I don't know what
what's
to
up?
say to that.
What's up to all of you? Hit the like button on this episode, would all of you please, and subscribe to this channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. It's the best way you can help the channel grow. So subscribe and leave comments on the videos and share all the content out. The more people that you share the show with, the better off the channel is. So thank you guys so much. Mary, where can they find you?
You guys can send me validation on Instagram, that is Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X, that is also Mary Archived, and help me get TikTok famous, that is also Mary Archived. Got a community guidelines violation on TikTok recently for literally no reason with no ability to appeal. So I can use all the help I can get.
Okay. Well, I mean, what do they mean no reason? Like, what was the topic?
I was talking about how Piper Raquel staged an interview with a priest who was actually, in reality, an actor pretending to be a priest. I didn't say anything, you know, that is out of line or against TOS. I don't know. I don't know what happened. TikTok is by far the most censorious platform to this day still, and I get tired of it. I really do.
All right. All right, go follow her over there and make up for that. All right, guys, just a heads up. I do have a separate video coming out on the just weapons level, weapons grade cope around the Mandalorian and Grogu failing. Remember, guys, there were people saying it was going to make $2 billion at the box office. Not likely. So go ahead and check that one out. It will be out at noon tomorrow. Also, I want to thank everybody, if you are here watching today, who came out to the Discord event that we did on Saturday night. It was a lot of fun. I got to talk about Supergirl. I talked about some of the marketing that's coming out for Supergirl right now, which is atrocious. The cross promotional stuff they're doing. They're doing a marketing campaign around a like a personal, you know, like what do they call it? Self-care app, where you take care of a pet and thus take care of yourself. It's basically Gigapets, and that is what Supergirl is teaming with. I was also asking the question, how many people who read Vogue Australia are going to go and see Supergirl because of it? So got into that, and I want to thank everybody for coming out. I'm going to try and make that twice a month, do an event on a Saturday night on Discord. So thank you guys for coming out to that. Also, if you do care, I will be on IRL tonight, pretending to have some type of an opinion on modern day politics. So you should tune in for that. If you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch the show, rate and review on Apple Podcast and on Spotify as well. If you are listening to that on the platform right now, go ahead, leave us a review. 5 stars, please. And if you want to follow us on social media, Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at popculturecrisis, Instagram at popculturecrisispod. One more from Brian Bledsoe says, okay, so no PCC meetup. Also, Rumble Rants. There were no Rumble Rants today. I checked.
I believe there's one more from Corey Anderson. Did you get to that one already?
What does it say?
About the anniversary?
No, I don't.
Oh. Okay. Celebrated my 20th anniversary a few days ago. Love you, Jess.
Congratulations.
Very sweet and wholesome. That is a terrific note to end on.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see you guys then.
Bye,
everybody.